Well, for me, I suppose when I first started in practice, I was at the stage of having my own children. So I was very much in the pregnancy and childbirth mode, which meant that I had a lot of pregnant women come to me, and I started attending births because I just found it, well, even as a student herbalist, I was always very interested in women's health, and I trained very deliberately, did a lot of training with herbalists who were experienced in gynecology and treating in pregnancy. So I deliberately, it just always been an interest of mine. So once I started in practice, I went, I delved right into it even more. And I just feel that, plants have so much to offer. Things that I've found helpful, I mean, they're all obvious things, really, because well, first of all, there's a lot of herbs that can be helpful during pregnancy. As practitioners just need to know what to prescribe. But the support and listening and helping a woman to face her fears, especially now, there's such fear around giving birth. And women are being more and more encouraged to have C-sections when they're not necessarily needed. And as you say, of course, medicalization can be life-saving. So I'm not decrying that. But more and more medicalization seems to be happening in some places that is unnecessary, and it's creating an area of fear for women and taking away their power. It's such a potential time of really not just initiation, but of really moving to a place of power and experiencing something so amazing. Because as you say, giving birth is such a common, normal thing and such a miracle at the same time, even though it's happening every moment around the world, multiple times. It's such a miraculous thing. And I think it's very sad that often a woman's pregnancy is taken up more with fear than the enjoyment of it, which is such an amazing experience to be sharing one's body with another being, another physical being, and a new soul coming in. I mean, it's amazing. So as well as herbs, to have a place to be able to go, whether it's a herbalist or someone else, to be able to really talk and share one's fears or whatever, to get help with transforming those. But also things like meditation techniques, or just not necessarily meditation, that word will put off a lot of people, but just guided visualizations to connect with the baby and different stages of pregnancy, and then for the birth itself to really surrender to the unknown. I think that's something we tend in our society to be very prone to wanting to control things rather than just surrendering. So to develop that trust and surrender to something that is a mystery at the end of the day, and you can't control it, but you can nevertheless set intentions and do so many things that can within that make it such a beautiful, beautiful experience, whatever way it goes. And things like hypnobirthing, and there's a lot of other useful techniques that can be added with herbs. And I think the postpartum period is a really neglected time where herbal medicine and plants can help so much. Often there's a lot of emphasis on the mother prior to the birth, but then once the baby's born, the main emphasis is on the baby, and it's easy for the mother to get neglected, and it's really important at that time to support the mother. And as a herbalist, it's very sad how often in practice I've seen women, sometimes, it could be 20 years after they've given birth, still suffering from something that actually is a result of their birth experience, or something that wasn't properly dealt with at that time that now is causing big, big problems because it wasn't properly dealt with. So I feel, as a practitioner, that time after giving birth is hugely important, and for the mother and for the baby, of course, but it's the mother who often gets neglected, and she'll be very busy doing all sorts of things, tired, maybe not much sleep, so many demands, hormone changes, and recovery from what can be major surgery, for instance, if people have had a C-section. And we can prevent, as herbalists, we can prevent so many problems later by dealing with them properly at that time. So any herbalists that might be watching this, I would really encourage you to treat both, find out what's safe, obviously, can read my book, during pregnancy, treat for breastfeeding women as well. Obviously, you need to be knowing what you're doing, but there's so much you can do to help women and to prevent later problems. So, yeah, it's a great area, and it's a lovely. I've just been so privileged to treat so many pregnant women, and what a delight it is, and also to attend certain births. I mean, it's not something every herbalist would want to do, but I just find it such a privilege to see a baby coming into the world. It's amazing.